Hey lovelies, it's Kate. Welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. It is time for a super over-the-top round mansion. I saw this picture on Pinterest and I just had to recreate this mansion. I was in the mood to create something modern and super fun, and this is hyper modern, completely over the top. This build is worth over 1 million simoleons, so it's super expensive. This is a really lavish, out of the ordinary mansion, so if you are into this type of build, or if your Sims are, then this might be for you. I built this on Komorebi because I haven't built in this world for the longest time. I figured it would be nice for a change. And I just started off by placing lots of pristine pedestals. This is the infamous Get Famous pristine pedestal that I really like to use. It's just a cube, it's a surface, some type of table. You can place something on top. And I used a rock as a guideline, and then I just placed lots of pristine pedestals. And then I used the tool mod to duplicate the pristine pedestals that I had already placed. So this just made this whole process much easier, because before the tool mod you just had to place each object individually. So this doesn't change how you can build this yourself if you don't like to use the tool mod, for example. You just have to place each one individually, so it just takes a longer time. But if you like to use the tool mod, which does not affect the gallery upload, by the way, it's a really simple way to just create shapes like this. Technically, it's the best is just to create a quarter. So you create a quarter of a circle, and then you just duplicate your quarter and you rotate it around center by 90 degrees, and that's it. And then you just duplicate the whole thing again, and so on and so on. Then I built a basement. I had to create a hole in the ground because in the reference the whole build was kind of underground or part of it. So I simply built a basement. I selected the basement and clicked on the yellow outline to select delete ceiling, and then it was time to place lots of windows. And I rotated these windows using the tool mod, and the hardest part was figuring out by which increment to rotate these. Like, I figured out different numbers, and it was kind of difficult to have the same curve as my, like, the circle that I had created using the pristine pedestals. I think I ended up using -12 or something. I don't even remember at this point. So I was playing around with this for like an hour until I was really happy, and then I finally built it and recorded this part. And I did the same thing as I did for my pristine pedestals. I created my round window facade, like a part of it, and then as you can see I rotated pieces, so this was just quicker. And since we got the rotate around center feature in the tool mod, life is just so much easier. I've also made a tutorial for this specifically. You can find it in my tutorial playlist. I've made a complete guide for the tool mod. There's an older one and a new one on my channel, and then I've also made a tutorial specifically for these round windows. And as I said, it doesn't affect the gallery upload, so you can use the mod, upload your build to the gallery. Everything will still be in place, but the person downloading the build won't need the mod, which is amazing. So this build really required heavy tool use, and technically for the pristine pedestals, as I said, tool isn't even a requirement. Like, you could do these things before the tool mod. It just makes life so much easier. It's quicker, and I mean, why not? But for the windows, you definitely need the tool mod. But a nice alternative, if you don't like to use mods, so if you're on console, could be the room divider by Moschino, the Moschino stuff pack. There's a room divider which looks like a window, and you can simply rotate it by holding down Alt and the left mouse button. And this would be a good alternative in this case. It looks different, but this is how you could do it. So the whole build is really over the top, and at this point I had no idea how I would turn this into a proper functional build. Eventually, as you will see, I'm going to furnish the whole round section that I'm working on right now in between the windows, like the top area above ground. And I furnished this, and of course this area can only be used when it's not raining or freezing, for example. So it's more of an outdoor area, but I still decided to add a complete kitchen so you could maybe have a barbecue there. So it's more about outdoor living, I guess you could say. And then in the basement, where we have fully closed rooms, actual proper rooms, I built another kitchen, a dining room area. So basically it's like two builds in one. We have a fancy outdoor area on top, and then we have a just the rest of the build in the ground, including bedrooms and bathrooms, just anything your Sims would need. So it's a bit different, but still very functional because I just added all the regular rooms in the basement. The column that I used that you can see is from the base game. It's like some type of column. I've used it in the past. The problem is it has a really weird shape. It's kind of twisted. You can see it here a bit, I think. The top is just not lining up correctly. So whenever I'm using this column to create something like this, I really like to hide the top later on by just placing something on top. For example, the Spade Stony Goodness slab. I think it looks weird. At the same time, it looks unique, but I just really like this color. There are different columns in debug, and they all have different colors, but I just love this. Just this wooden tone. It's just perfect for this look. And when you look at the reference, this is exactly what I needed, especially in combination with the wood floor that I used, which is from the base game. I then had to create another round shape, and for this I once again used a rug, and I had to build a room in the center in the basement because it was kind of disappearing. It just needed a place where I could properly place my rug, so that's what I did. And then I was running out of money and I cheated some money and I placed small pristine pedestals. In this case I decided to go for this beige pale brown swatch because it just gives some retro vibes, I feel like. And when you look at the reference, once again, it looks like really mid-century modern in a really abstract, crazy kind of way. So I figured this would be perfect. And I then just filled in the area. Originally, I would have loved to have a foundation, like just a little bit of a height difference, but I didn't think of this. I just started building, as you saw, and when I later on tried to increase the platform height a bit, the windows would just stay where they are, including all the pristine pedestals, and the bottom of my windows and columns were just kind of in the platform. And I didn't like that, and it would have been so much work to raise all these objects just for a little bit of platform that I thought, I'm not going to build a platform, it's fine the way it is. I then created some type of moat going all around the build, and I of course had to build a bridge. I used my good old method of just building a room, a floor piece on top, and then I got rid of the room. I had a floating floor piece, and this way I could build my bridge. The bridge is diagonal, and the problem is that we can't build diagonal stairs, so whenever I'm building stairs like this diagonal, I always have to have some type of triangular shape at the ends to attach some stairs. I don't really like the look, but it's okay. And then I just decided to use more pristine pedestals to kind of hide this, like it's not super visible. I then used this decorative object from Get Together, which is like some type of rock. I just wanted to hide this. I don't like the look. I really wish we had some diagonal stairs, but here at this point, the way I just built the whole house, this was just the perfect spot to just add a bridge, I think. I then expanded the pond and just used the terrain tools, of course. I used the pond tool to fill in the hole that I had created. And I used this swatch because I think it's just perfect for this look. I always have these very blue, crystal clear swatches for the water. It looks really dreamy and perfect. But here I was going for something more natural, and the contrast between the water and all these wooden colors is just perfect. Then I used the Spade Stony Goodness slab to create these round shapes, and Sadie actually inspired me to do this. When I was building this, I sent her some pictures and she was like, yeah, maybe you could add these shapes. She just drew these lines on my screenshot in Paint to show me what she was thinking of, and it's just perfect because I wasn't really happy with the bridge. I felt like I have this super round shape, this really circular building, and suddenly I have this bridge, and I felt like it was kind of destroying the look. But her amazing idea of using this Body Stony Goodness slab just made it all work. It just flows together so nicely. So thank you to my friend Sadie. I'm going to link her channel down below. Please check her out. She's just so amazing. And yeah, then I just landscaped a bit more. I added some debug rocks from Eco Lifestyle specifically. These just have the supernatural look. I love this. Then I added a fence from City Living. So this is just a debug fence, and you have to place every single one individually. Once again, holding down Alt and your left mouse button. And I just placed lots of them. I felt like the build needed a bit more detail without adding too much. I feel like this is a really minimalistic build, kind of. It's crazy in itself, but I didn't want to add too much to the outside area, for example. So I just added these 4 armchairs. I have my coffee table, a cute plant, and that's it. So it's very simple, and I think that's amazing. And then I started to furnish the top. So as I said, I wanted to have 2 different areas. I wanted to have a kitchen up here, a living room, dining room. So this is fully functional. Technically, you could really spend your day up here, but I mean, you won't find any bedrooms up here, but you will have a kitchen and all that. I put the barbecue grill in the center because I really wanted to put an emphasis on the fact that this is outdoors. So it's more about having a barbecue probably. But I also added other objects, a microwave, a stove. When it's raining, this probably isn't functional, which is why, as I said, I built a kitchen in the basement as well. I wanted this to be kind of functional in both ways. I just didn't want to just put some decorative stuff up here or something. I really wanted this to make sense, because when you look at the build from the outside, it's like, oh my gosh, wow, that's a round build and you can live in there. So I really wanted this to be true. So I furnished this area as well. And then I started to work on the basement area. In some areas, I added some Island Living glass flowers on top. And I also added lots of windows around the area in the center where I built the tree, like the basement, where I created the hole and removed the ceiling. So there is lots of light coming in, but in some rooms there isn't. Like here, for example, the bathroom has no window technically, so I added lots of lights. So there are lots of ceiling lights. There's still enough light. It's just a bit different, like some type of underwater build, for example, which I'm still wanting to build. Like after the poncho came out, I talked about this, but I just stared at this lot for so long. And I even started to work on multiple underwater lots, but it just didn't work out. I just blanked. I don't know, builder's block, but I just couldn't build an underwater build. I think it's going to happen at some point. That's always what happens when I'm just blanking and I have no idea what to do. When I think, oh my gosh, I'm going to build a castle, I'm going to build an underwater build, and it's just not happening. At some point it will, but I just had no idea. I looked at different pictures and I tried different things and it just wasn't working. But this is, I mean, not really an underwater build, but it's underground and we have some water around it. I don't know. Also, tomorrow there will be a new kit coming out. It's about building objects. It's about a industrial kind of interior thing, including new windows, probably much like Moschino. So I guess it's time to build a penthouse. We could also work on an apartment, but we can only change the windows using tool, for example, different tricks, which is fun, but I think it makes more sense to work on some type of penthouse using the new objects. So it's time for an industrial penthouse, and I'm really excited about this, especially in combination with all these Dream Home Decorate objects. I built a penthouse I don't know, a month or two ago using the new Dream Home Decorator objects, and I really enjoyed it. And I think it could be so much fun to build one combining all these objects, including Moschino. I don't know, I'm really excited. I'm just really excited that there was some type of surprise announcement for new content. I'm also really happy that it's about building once again and not gameplay, because I'm a builder. But I'm just going to take a look at the kit when it comes out, and then I will tell you what I think in the speed build. I'm not sure yet because I just have to get my hands on the pack. I just know that I'm excited. I hope it's not too similar to Moschino Stuff Pack, because we have these industrial windows and some objects, so I hope that it's a bit different, and I'm just really excited. A kit is really small, but at the same time it can be amazing for building. Just think of the Courtyard Oasis kit, for example. We had so much fun on this channel with this kit, so we will see. I'm ready to work on a build like this. And yeah, this is it. This build is available in the gallery. My ID is KateEmerald, CC free and unmodded. You can also find the tray files on my Patreon. And speaking of which, it's time to thank my wonderful Emerald Patreons. A big thank you to Asia, Rainier Wilcox, Jennifer Lewis, Kellen Renee, Molly, Shannon McClam, Telena Lynn, Tamika Mitchell, and Victoria Smithies. Thank you so much to all of you. Thank you to all my other Patreons. And thank you to anyone who watches my videos. Thank you so much for supporting me. I equally appreciate all of your support, and I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching. And yes, as I said, you can grab this build from the gallery. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope I see you in the next video. I hope you will have a perfect week. And yeah, I hope I see you in the next video. Bye bye.